Welcome to English by Levels podcast. This is Group Stage Giants, a football series for advanced English learners who want real football analysis in clear, natural English. Before the World Cup becomes a knockout drama, every great team must first survive the group stage. Today, we begin with one powerful question. Why does Messi still make Argentina look complete, while Ronaldo's Portugal still seems to be searching for clarity? From there, we look at Brazil, Germany, Argentina, the Netherlands, and Spain.
Welcome to episode of Group Stage Giants. I am Sophia, and Daniel is sitting here with me as an analyst.
Hello, everyone.
Before the knockouts create legends, before penalties break hearts, before one mistake destroys 4 years of preparation, there is the first battlefield of every World Cup, the group stage. It looks simple from the outside. 3 matches, 4 teams, a table, points, goals, qualification. But for the biggest nations, the group stage is not just a beginning, it is a psychological examination. It asks a team one brutal question. Can you carry history, pressure, expectation, and still play with clarity? Today, we look at 5 nations that have repeatedly understood this early storm better than most: Brazil, Germany, Argentina, the Netherlands, and Spain. These are not just famous teams. They are football cultures with different ideas of control, authority, fear, beauty, and survival. And to break it all down, we have our analyst with us. Before we go team by team, I want to start with a question everyone is asking. Why does Messi still make Argentina look so coherent, so dangerous, so emotionally complete? And on the other side, why does Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal feel almost like the opposite story right now? Full of talent, full of possession, but somehow less convincing.
Thank you. And I love this topic because the group stage is often misunderstood. People think tournaments are won only in semi-finals and finals, but many World Cup campaigns are actually shaped much earlier. A strong group stage gives a team rhythm. It builds internal belief. It protects key players from panic. It allows coaches to manage energy, test relationships, and create a sense of inevitability. The best teams do not always destroy their opponents immediately. Sometimes they calculate, sometimes they suffer, sometimes they survive one dangerous half and then impose themselves. That is why Brazil, Germany, Argentina, the Netherlands, and Spain are fascinating. They all have different football languages, but they share one quality. They know how to make the group stage feel like their territory. And Messi and Ronaldo, Argentina and Portugal. That is the perfect question, because it is not really about Messi versus Ronaldo as individuals anymore. It is about how each national team has built its football ecosystem around an aging icon. Argentina have found a very intelligent solution with Messi. They do not ask him to play like a 25-year-old winger. They do not ask him to press every centre-back, chase every full-back, or cover huge distances without the ball. Instead, they protect his energy and maximise his influence. Messi is now used as a decisive organiser, not a constant runner. He appears between the lines, slows the match down, attracts pressure, and then chooses the exact moment to accelerate the play. Around him, Argentina have built a hard-working structure. Rodrigo de Paul gives emotional intensity, Alexis McAllister gives balance, Enzo Fernandez gives passing range, Julian Alvarez gives pressing and vertical movement, and Lautaro Martinez attacks the penalty area. So Messi does not have to carry the whole machine physically. He only has to give the machine its final idea. That is why Argentina look coherent. The team understands what Messi can still do at an elite level, and more importantly, it understands what he no longer needs to do. Portugal's problem with Ronaldo is different. Portugal have enormous technical quality. Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva, João Neves, Vitinha, Rafael Leão, João Felix, Gonçalo Ramos. This is a squad full of players who want rhythm, combinations, rotations, and movement between the lines. But when Ronaldo starts as the fixed reference point, Portugal can become too predictable. The attack often begins to look like a team searching for the perfect delivery rather than creating natural chaos. Crosses arrive, possession grows, passes accumulate, but the structure can lose surprise. Ronaldo is still a legendary finisher. His movement inside the box is still intelligent. His mentality is still extraordinary. But the question is whether Portugal's collective attack becomes freer with him, or whether it becomes psychologically obliged to serve him. That is the key difference. Argentina have adapted to Messi's evolution. Portugal are still negotiating Ronaldo's status. With Messi, Argentina seem to have accepted the truth of time and built a team around his remaining genius. With Ronaldo, Portugal sometimes look trapped between respect for the past and the tactical needs of the present. And in a World Cup group stage, that difference is huge, because the group stage rewards clarity. Argentina have clarity. Portugal, at least right now, still look like a team searching for it.
Thank you for your answer. Let's start with Brazil, because when people hear World Cup, Brazil still feels like the first image that appears in the mind.
Exactly. Brazil are not simply a national team. They are the emotional reference point of the World Cup. Their group stage identity is built on a very rare kind of authority. Even when Brazil are not perfect, opponents feel the weight of the yellow shirt. That matters. The shirt itself carries memory. Pelé, Zico, Romario, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, Kaká, Neymar. And another face, Vinicius Jr. Vinicius gives Brazil something essential in a group stage: acceleration against anxiety. When a match becomes tight, when the opponent sits deep, when the rhythm feels blocked, he can create a rupture. One diagonal run, one first touch into space, one violent change of speed. Suddenly, the entire defensive structure is moving backwards. Brazil's current story is not just about flair, it is about balance. Players like Lucas Paqueta, Bruno Guimaraes, Rodrigo, Rafinha, and Matheus Cunha give the team different layers. Cunha, for example, is not only a scorer, he attacks space, presses defenders, and helps Brazil avoid becoming too dependent on one superstar. And then there is Neymar. Even when Neymar is not the center of every move, his presence changes the emotional architecture of the team. He represents continuity. He connects this generation to the previous one. For Brazil, important players are not only tactical pieces, they are symbols. That is why Brazil are dangerous early in tournaments. They do not always need 90 perfect minutes. Sometimes they only need 15 minutes of rhythm and the match is gone.
So with Brazil, the word is not just talent, it is inevitability.
Exactly. Brazil's greatest group stage weapon is the feeling that the breakthrough is always coming.
Let's move to Germany, a completely different football culture, a completely different emotional temperature.
Germany are almost the opposite myth. Brazil seduce the game, Germany engineer it. Historically, Germany's group stage strength has been structure, repetition, and competitive seriousness. They rarely treat the first round as a warm-up, they treat it as the foundation of the tournament. The best German sides have always understood the value of rhythm: clean spacing, aggressive counterpressing, fast occupation of the box, and relentless mental pressure. Even when they are not spectacular, they make opponents feel that every mistake will be punished. And the modern German team is interesting because it has both engineering and imagination. Joshua Kimmich gives leadership and tactical memory. Jamal Musiala gives unpredictability between the lines. Florian Wirtz gives elegance, disguise, and final third intelligence. Kai Havertz gives height, combination play, and penalty box presence. Deniz Undav gives something different: directness, instinct, and ruthless efficiency in limited minutes. That kind of depth matters in a group stage. You do not win 3 matches with only your best 11. You need bench players who can change the emotional direction of a game. Germany's group stage personality is not romantic. It is procedural. They stretch you, tire you, force you into decisions, and eventually turn small errors into scoreboard damage.
So Germany do not need chaos. They prefer control.
Yes, but their control is not soft. It is industrial. Germany can make a group stage match feel like a machine slowly closing around the opponent.
Now Argentina. With Argentina, the story always feels more emotional, more dramatic, more human.
Argentina are the most emotionally charged team in this group. With Brazil, you feel mythology. With Germany, you feel structure. With Argentina, you feel obsession. The group stage for Argentina is never just tactical. It is national theatre. Every touch is interpreted. Every facial expression matters. Every result becomes a conversation about identity. And of course, Lionel Messi remains the gravitational centre of the Argentine universe. Even at this stage of his career, he changes the geometry of a match. Defenders move toward him before he receives the ball. Midfielders hesitate. Goalkeepers anticipate impossible solutions. That creates oxygen for players around him. But Argentina are not only Messi. That is important. Julian Alvarez gives pressing intensity and vertical movement. Lautaro Martinez gives penalty box aggression. Alexis McAllister gives balance, intelligence, and timing. Enzo Fernandez gives passing range and midfield authority. Rodrigo de Paul gives emotional electricity. Emiliano Martinez gives the team a goalkeeper who enjoys pressure rather than fears it. That is why Argentina can survive difficult group stage moments. They combine genius with friction. They can play with elegance, but they can also suffer. They can protect a lead, chase a match, slow the tempo, or turn the game into a psychological fight.
Argentina do not always look calm, but they often look alive.
Exactly. Their strength is not serenity. Their strength is competitive emotion. Argentina can transform pressure into fuel, and in a group stage, that is priceless.
Next, the Netherlands, a nation with huge football influence, but also a strange relationship with the World Cup.
The Netherlands are one of football's great paradoxes. They have shaped the way the world understands space, pressing, possession, and positional play, yet they still carry the absence of a World Cup trophy. That absence gives their group stage performances a special tension. The Dutch are often strong early because they have a clear football vocabulary. They usually want structure, width, rotations, and controlled progression. Even when the team becomes more pragmatic, the Dutch idea of football is never completely gone. Virgil van Dijk gives them defensive authority and leadership. Frankie de Jong gives rhythm and press resistance. Cody Gakpo gives cutting movement from wide areas. Xavi Simons gives invention between midfield and attack. Brian Brobby offers physicality and penalty box presence. Crescencio Somerville adds speed and spontaneity. This mix matters. The Netherlands can play through midfield, but they can also become more direct. They can use the ball to dominate or use transitions to punish. Their group stage danger comes from tactical maturity. They do not need to be emotionally loud. They can quietly control territory, wait for the opponent to lose discipline, and then attack the exposed space.
So the Netherlands are not only about beauty, they are about geometry.
Exactly. Dutch football at its best is geometry with consequences. The ball moves, the opponent shifts, the space opens, and suddenly the game looks simple.
And finally, Spain. Maybe the clearest example of control as a football ideology.
Spain are fascinating because their entire group stage identity is built around a refusal to let the opponent breathe. Do not just want possession, they want emotional possession. They want the opponent to feel trapped, impatient, and mentally tired. The Spanish model is based on technical security, short passing, positional occupation, midfield superiority, and the ability to restart attacks again and again until the defensive block begins to crack. Rodri is central to that. He gives Spain control over the middle of the pitch. Pedri gives rhythm and imagination. Dani Olmo gives movement between the lines. Lamine Yamal gives the unpredictable edge of youth. Nico Williams gives 1-versus-1 threat and width. Mikel Oyarzabal gives intelligent movement and finishing. Unai Simon gives security behind the structure. This is what makes Spain dangerous in group stages. Against weaker or more reactive teams, Spain can turn matches into long defensive exercises. The opponent may survive for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, even 60 minutes, but survival is exhausting when you never have the ball. The risk, of course, is sterility. Spain can sometimes dominate without cutting deeply enough, but when the wide players are sharp, when Pedri finds pockets, when Yamal or Williams creates imbalance, Spain becomes suffocating.
So with Spain, domination is not always loud. Sometimes it is slow pressure.
Exactly. Spain's power is cumulative. They do not always knock the door down immediately. Sometimes they keep knocking until the opponent forgets how to defend the room.
When we put these 5 teams together, we see 5 different versions of group stage strength. Brazil bring inevitability. Germany structure. Argentina bring emotional force. The Netherlands bring tactical geometry. Spain brings suffocating control.
And that is what makes the group stage so revealing. A knockout match can be decided by one red card, one penalty, one deflection, one moment of madness. But the group stage exposes the deeper personality of a team. It asks whether you can repeat your level, whether you can respond after a bad half, whether you can manage pressure without losing your identity. The great group stage nations do not simply collect points, they send messages. Brazil say, we can hurt you at any moment. Germany say, we will not give you cheap mistakes. Argentina say, we can suffer and still believe. The Netherlands say, we understand space better than you. Spain say, you may share the pitch, but we will control the match.
And maybe that is why the group stage is more than just the road to the knockouts. It is the first public test of a nation's football soul.
Exactly. Before a team can become a champion, it must first prove that it belongs in the storm.
This was Group Stage Giants. In the next episode, we continue with 5 more nations carrying different kinds of pressure: France, England, Portugal, Mexico, and the United States. Because some teams dominate the group stage through history, others must fight to turn expectation into authority.
5 nations, 5 football cultures, 5 different ways to survive the first storm. The group stage is never just the beginning. It is the first test of a team's soul. Brazil bring inevitability, Germany bring structure, Argentina bring emotion, the Netherlands bring geometry, Spain bring control. Different styles, one truth. Before a team can chase the trophy, it must first prove it belongs. Next time, we continue with France, England, Portugal, Mexico, and the United States. This was Group Stage Giants from English by Levels podcast. Thank you for listening and keep improving your English through football.